Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Throne of Steel episode number 199 based on novel. So let's start. As soon as the Purple Emperor came into contact with the All Things Resuscitate, it moved forward quickly with a crushing force. The turquoise vortex split into two, skimming 100 meters from both sides of Poe's body, one after another. The bright purple luster chopped straight to Long Haochen's body. At this moment, even Xiaohua and Xu Yongxiao could not help but get nervous. At this time, even with their practice level, they would be of no use in this battle at all. Long Haochen could only rely on himself. In the distance, the people of the Light Dawn Demon Hunter group could not help but exclaim. At least from their point of view of the situation, Long Haochen was completely at a disadvantage. Long Haochen was suspended there, motionless, and the Sword of Eternity sword in his hand had disappeared. The fuchsia blade swept over him. "No," Kia shouted in despair. But her voice stopped abruptly. It was because Long Haochen suddenly disappeared into a wisp of green smoke in the air. And until this time, they found out that Poe's Purple Emperor chopped the All Things Resuscitate in half, but the huge turquoise was also fully integrated into his anti-heavenly dragon's domain. Soft green instantly collided, and the next moment, the sky suddenly lit up. Unexpectedly, the anti-heavenly dragon's domain got suppressed so much it disappeared. Even the reflection of the anti-heavenly dragon's pillar was twisted by the thick aura of life. Countless blue lights exploded in the next moment. A strange and vibrant phantom began to appear in the sky. It seemed that in midair there were countless plants growing fruitfully in the sky. All the negative emotions were swept away immediately with this thick vitality, and the ones who felt most deeply were Long Haochen's companions. Everyone in the Light Dawn Demon Hunter group felt as if they were back in the dream paradise. Everything around had turned into a vibrant turquoise. Xiaohua and Xu Yongxiao looked at each other, and they both felt a strong shock from the fire of each other's souls. It turned out that this was the real power of Long Haochen. The power of the All Things Resuscitate at that moment had reached above level 9 of rank 8. Although he used the power of the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation, the imperial weapon itself was a part of his body, and even the imperial weapon could not have ascended so much. Long Haochen's own wisdom furnace played a key role. The All Things Resuscitate merged with the power of Yi Xialei, and the light and shadow of the anti-heavenly dragon's pillar in the air gradually became illusory and shattered. Long Haochen once again appeared in front of everyone. Behind him, the figure of Yi Xialei impressively appeared much more magnified. At this time, Yi Xialei's eyes were all hazed from tears. She seemed to see her home again, but she also recalled the scene when her home was destroyed. Poe was the son of the god of devils, and had a very similar smell to the god of devils. How could she not go all out to help Long Haochen launch that last blow? The blue light gradually faded, and the rich aura of life returned to the body of Long Haochen like the rivers flowing back to the sea, and finally disappeared at the Eternity Stone, and the figure of Yi Xialei also diluted and disappeared. Poe was right in front of Long Haochen, but now 1/3 of the anti-heavenly dragon's pillar's power he had before was greatly downgraded. Even the dragon's torso armor was broken in many places, and the horrifying scars flickered with a faint blue light all over his body. Poe's eyes were already very dim, and there was no brilliance in the gloom. His purple dragon sword was still in his hand, but it was less than 1/3 in its original length. He lost the battle. Even in the state of Devil's disintegration method, which helped to improve his level, he still lost to Long Haochen under Long Haochen's All Things Resuscitate. The damage to the body was far less than the pain in Poe's heart. "Kill me, just kill me," Poe suddenly shouted at Long Haochen. He didn't understand why Long Haochen didn't kill him. Long Haochen could have killed himself just now. Is he going to keep me alive and humiliate me? With his roar, all the wounds on his body ripped open, and Poe's body had been completely stained purple with his own purple blood. However, the self-healing ability of the anti-heavenly dragon's clan was really strong, and the blood stopped by itself only a few seconds after the wound ripped open. However, the injury inside Poe's body was not so easy to heal, and the outcome of the Devil's disintegration method was frantically engulfing his origin. Long Haochen looked at Poe coldly, and he knew that from this moment on, the Prince of Devils could no longer pose a threat to him. When he left Poe alive, he naturally had a purpose. Last time in the Star Devil Tower, the God of Devils did not kill my friend. I'll return the flavor now. Go back and tell the God of Devils that I am waiting for his arrival. 6,000 years of darkness is coming to an end. As he spoke, Long Haochen waved his hand and a huge force slammed into Poe, pushing him away into the distance. Seeing Po leave, Long Haochen's heart gradually calmed down. It was not easy for him to win this battle, and while Po was bombarded by him, a touch of blood flowed down from the corners of his mouth. Po's final attack also hurt Long Haochen. However, Long Haochen still succeeded in hiding some of his more powerful attacks. He was facing the Prince of the Devil's clan rather than the God of Devils, therefore, he would rather get hurt than open all his cards, especially if he did not intend to kill Po. 5 years ago, in the Star Devil Tower, Long Haochen did not understand why the God of Devils did not attack his companions. Instead, at that time, the God of Devils just let them go. If the God of Devils had killed everyone at that time, it would be a lot harder for Long Haochen to come back to life and meet his companions underground. No matter what reason the God of Devils had, Long Haochen did not kill Po today to return the favor, and so that Po would tell the God of Devils that it would be a life-and-death struggle if they were to meet again. What Long Haochen did not know was that Po had the seal of the anti-heavenly dragon's clan. If he really wanted to kill Po, then the scene that once appeared in the dream paradise would be repeated. Looking into the distance, the flame in the heart of Long Haochen gradually weakened down. Kia went close to Long Haochen's side. She hit hard on his shoulder, and then threw herself into his arms and hugged him tightly. A holy war was inevitable, and the war between humans and devils had only just begun. After simply cleaning the battlefield, Long Haochen and his companions quietly disappeared at the end of the sky. A total of 20 Black Dragon Guards, including Huang Shuo, commander of the Black Dragon Guards, were defeated in the previous battle. Without a minute of delay, Long Haochen took his companions quickly towards Yulong Guan. At the same time, he asked Kia who could move the fastest to catch up with the legion of sharp knives in front of him and ordered them to speed up and get back to Yulong Guan. Although the vanguard of the Devil's clan was destroyed, Long Haochen still felt uneasy. This was just the beginning. The news from Yu Yi was proved to be true, therefore, it automatically also confirmed the reliability of her other news. The God of Devils was commanding nearly 200 strong members of the 9th level from the Devil's clan to besiege and kill Long Haochen. Now he could only choose to retreat quickly to Yulong Guan and defend it with the strength of Da Xiongguan. They couldn't defeat the Devils completely in a single battle. What Long Haochen needed to do was to wait and persevere. When the God of Devils saw Po, his face became distorted that he was on the verge of dripping blood. Po looked so embarrassed that he couldn't even fly in the sky and just walked on the ground. At this time, he stumbled like an ordinary human. When Po was defeated by Long Haochen, the God of Devils felt it, but the seal on Po was not opened. Thus, he thought that Long Haochen and Po had a draw because he could not think of any reason why Long Haochen did not kill Po if Po had failed. When he saw his son walking alone in the wilderness, the God of Devils, Feng Xiu knew at that moment that he was wrong. He knew Po too well. If Po and Long Haochen were both defeated, he would never look like this. He would certainly try his best to heal his wounds and quickly brought the news back himself. But now he was completely like a walking corpse. The usual domineering confidence could no longer be seen on Po's face. All there was were dull eyes and sluggish steps, just like a puppet. Pat, the God of Devils, slapped Po so hard that his body flew away. If the Moon Devil God Agares hadn't hurriedly stopped him, his right hand would have hit Po already. Po was pushed out dozens of meters by this slap and hit hard on the ground. Gulps of purple blood and clot spit out from his mouth and he fell straight into a coma. The God of Devils was also surprised. Of course, the God of Devils did not hit Po with full strength. Po was his successor and his own son. A slap that seemed to be very hard was actually more of a physical force. But Po's situation was clearly not that trivial. There was no need for any persuasion from the Moon Devil God Agares. The God of Devils' body flashed, and he came to Po's side. He waved his right hand towards Po, and Po's body slowly rose up and was suspended in front of the God of Devils. A layer of dark purple light enveloped the father and son. A moment later, the dark purple light dissipated, and Agares saw clearly that the black and golden light in the eyes of the God of Devils had been swallowed and puffed 3 times in a row. He understood that this was a sign that the God of Devils was extremely angry. For the time being, whether it was the Moon Devil God, the Star Devil God, or the other 20 Devil Gods, they were all silent. The atmosphere did not allow them to breathe. The God of Devils looked at Agares and whispered, "Po is useless now." What? Although Agares had guessed that Po's situation was not good, he was still shocked when the word came out from the mouth of Feng Xiu. Po was the only heir of the God of Devils at present. Since Po's practice level broke through the 9th level, the God of Devils had been paving the way for his succession. How could it be for nothing? Not only Agares, but all the Devil Gods were stunned. They all had similar thoughts. The prince left with 20 black dragon guards. Now only the prince comes back alone with serious injuries. What about the black dragon guards? Are the strong members of the first race of devils unable to protect their prince? What's more, Poe's strength is not weak. Can't believe they didn't get out. How could that be? His Royal Highness is related to you by blood, so he can borrow your strength when necessary, Agares said inexplicably. Feng Xiu, the god of devils, said coldly, he has closed the aura connection between us. After using the great devil's disintegration method, he was badly injured. Even if I were to heal him myself, I won't be able to restore his previous condition for at least 20 years. He'll never be able to reach my level his entire life. Asmod. Your Majesty. Among the Devil's Clan's 72 pillar devil gods, Asmod, the Dragon Rider devil god ranked 32 Road, quickly stepped out and respectfully responded. Asmod made Yang Wenjiao and Duan Yi suffer a great loss and wiped out the demon hunter group to which they each belonged. Long Haochen rescued those two and fell into the trap of the god of devils and the star devil god. You take him back to Xincheng and then bring Leng Xiao to see me. While talking, the god of devils handed Po to Asmod's hands, and the dark golden light in his eyes twinkled again. Asmod carefully took over Po. The devil gods were still silent. They understood the meaning of the god of devils' words. This was the end of Po's chance to inherit the throne. The god of devils had a son and a daughter. Was he going to make his daughter become the next heir? Indeed, even if she was not as talented as Po, 20 years was enough for her to leave Po far behind. What's more, the god of devils' anger was not about practice level. Father, just as Asmod was about to turn and leave, Po woke up from his coma. After the treatment from the god of devils, his injury was stabilized. At least it was no longer life-threatening. Feng Xiu looked at his son coldly. You've disappointed me so much. Po showed a trace of bitterness in the corner of his mouth. Father, I lost. I lost to Long Haochen. Even when I used the devil's disintegration method and the power of the anti-heavenly dragon's pillar, still, I was not able to defeat him. The god of devils said, tell me the whole thing. And what about Huangshuo and the others? Po said with empty eyes, I don't know where Huangshuo and the others went. At that time, there was only Long Haochen in my eyes, and my opponent was only Long Haochen. Then I unleashed the power of the anti-heavenly dragon's pillar. At last, Long Haochen asked me to tell you that he was waiting for your arrival. 6,000 years of darkness is coming to an end. He also said that he did not kill me only because last time you didn't kill his companion in the Star Devil Tower. The god of devils took a deep breath slowly. The dark golden color in his eyes slowly converged, and in the depths of his eyes, there was a very special emotional fluctuation, complicated and struggled. Agares had been silently watching the god of devils, and other devil gods dared not disturb him. After a long time, the god of devils waved to Asmod, the dragon rider devil god. Asmod understood, and then turned away with Po in his arms. He really didn't want to stay in front of the god of devils for too long. There was too much pressure. What a pity. Instead of getting angry, the god of devils let out a sigh. Is your Majesty sorry for Po? In fact, His Royal Highness still has the possibility of recovery. When the war is over, I am willing to do my best to assist your Majesty in treating the Crown Prince, the Moon Devil god Agares said. The god of devils shook his head and said, it is not him that I felt sorry for. Po has a strong personality, but the deficiency of overall vision has always been his downside. I wanted to influence him imperceptibly. But he is still not able to fix that shortcoming, and look at what happened now. He is no longer qualified to be the future master of the Devil's Clan. It is a pity that the contradiction between me and Long Haochen is completely irreconcilable. Otherwise, the god of devils paused. Agares suddenly shook his body and thought of a possibility, because he suddenly remembered what the god of devils had said in the Star Devil Tower. The god of devils waved his hand. Let's go. I'd like to see how this Long Haochen will end the Dark Age. As he spoke, he stepped out in the air and fell back into his dragon chair. It was the 32 black dragon guards who were responsible for carrying the chair. More than 1,000 figures were on the road again, and they did not need the orders from the god of devils. Their speed increased sharply as they went straight to the north. The Moon Devil god Agares was worthy of being the second-ranked devil god. In the process of moving forward, he had sent several Moon Devils to the capital of the 6 northern provinces to control the situation. It looked as if he was seizing power, but everything was ordered in front of the god of devils, which made him seem to act openly, and everything he did was above board. The god of devils seemed to be completely ignorant of all this, and just sat silently on his dragon chair, as if he was thinking about something. Temple Federation, Southeast Fortress, War Department. Qiu Yonghao was in the first position. Although he had passed the position of the master of the Soldiers' Temple to Wang Yuan, he was still in charge of the Soldiers' Temple. On the left-hand side there were 9 eternal heroes, and on the right-hand side were the strong men of the Warriors' Temple. From the way the strong men of the Warrior Temple looked at the other side, one could see that they had great respect for these 9 eternal heroes. The reason was simple. These 9 eternal heroes were all warriors, and their chosen successors were all in this Southeast Fortress, the children of the high echelons of the Warrior Temple. Moreover, among the 9 soldiers, the highest was level 9 of rank 4, and the lowest was level 9 of rank 3. Everyone was absolutely strong for the Warrior Temple. Through this period of contact, since Qiu Yonghao, the senior level of the Warriors' Temple could be said to admire the 9 eternal heroes. These 9 grandparents had never been arrogant. Nor had they been involved in any major decision-making. Everything was under the command of Qiu Yonghao. At the same time, while they taught their inheritors, they also did not hesitate to impart their own practice and combat skills to the young children of the temple of other excellent soldiers. Only some of their unique teachings were passed on to the inheritors alone. It could be predicted that with the teachings of these 9 seniors, the growth of the younger generation of the Warriors' Temple must be much better than that of Qiu Yonghao and his generation. These 9 eternal heroes had won the highest respect from all of the top class. Sami Jina, the undead devil god, leads 16 devil gods. The commander of the elite army of 500,000 devils is approaching us day and night. According to the messenger, they will arrive at the Southeast Fortress in about 3 days. I invite you here today to discuss specific countermeasures. Qiu Yonghao's words immediately made the atmosphere in the War Department become tense. Although they had long speculated that as the nearest stronghold to Modu, the god of devils was likely to make them a priority target. However, the arrival of the devil army still made the high levels of the Soldiers' Temple very nervous. After all, in the past, the Southeast Fortress where the Warriors' Temple was located had been attacked the most and was also the weakest among the 6 fortresses. The army of devils came furiously this time, and the number of devil gods alone was 16. There was a tremendous pressure on the Warriors' Temple. Is the information accurate? Master Qiu Jianshu, the old man who sat in the first position among the 9 eternal heroes, asked quietly. Qiu Yonghao nodded and said, the news is very accurate. It was sent by the chairman. At the same time, according to our own scout, the information is very reliable. Senior Yi, do you have any suggestions? The old man, named Yi Sanmi, who was at level 9 of rank 4, shook his head slightly and said, we are only responsible for fighting, and you make sure about strategies and tactics. However, I would like to remind you that the Warriors' Temple is a mix of 6 professions, which is different from before, and there should also be changes in strategy and tactics. Understood, Qiu Yonghao replied respectfully. He was really not afraid of Sami Jina, the undead devil god. At present, in the Southeast Fortress, there were more than 100,000 of the 6 professionals and nearly 500,000 troops. In terms of quantity, it was not inferior to the Devil's clan. Even if the Devil army was extremely elite, the Southeast Fortress was built to be more defensive than before according to the federal policy after the previous Holy War. And they had the help from 9 eternal heroes. He was not sure about confronting the Devil clan on the plain, but when it came to guard the Southeast Fortress, Qiu Yonghao really had a lot of confidence. One by one orders were quickly sent. According to Long Haochen's overall strategy, if the Southeast Fortress encountered the Devil army's attack, then there was only one goal, defense. It was enough to drag the army of devils there and avoid their own losses as much as possible. The same strategic deployment also appeared at Wan Shouguan where the Temple of Soul was located. Wan Shouguan did not receive much military support, but the Guan, where Wan Shouguan and the Magic Temple located, had always been the most difficult to break through among the 6 fortresses. In addition, after the career change, Wan Shouguan was also equipped with 6 major professions, and Chen Hongyu also had the support of 9 eternal heroes. He was absolutely full of confidence. He not only would defend, but was even thinking of counterattack. With the continuous movement of human and devil armies, the atmosphere of the whole Holy Land was becoming more and more tense. However, the first to fight was not the collision between the armies of the 2 sides, but from the top power of more than 1,000 devils commanded by the god of devils. With their strong practice level, when they almost crossed more than half of their territory and arrived outside Yulong, Guan, the armies of the devils commanded by the undead devil god and the hell devil god had not yet reached the fortress they were going to attack. In the distance, Yulong Guan was in sight, and Agares, the moon devil god, came to the dragon of the god of devils and asked him quietly, "Your Majesty, shall we attack at once, or?" The god of devils said calmly, "There's no need to hurry. Didn't Long Haochen deliberately lead me here? I'll see him first. Now we'll just find a flat place to camp here." Roger. Agares greeted and quickly conveyed the order of the god of devils. Although the moon devil god Agares was the second devil god, he was now like a butler of the whole army. The will of the god of devils was completely accomplished by him. This place was still 50 miles from Yulong, Guan. In the cold wind, exquisite curtains made of cooked cowhide were quickly set in the wilderness. All of them were very powerful, so their speed of setting up tents was very fast. If it were in the ordinary army, members of the 7th level would already have a very high status. However, in this team, the 8th level still could only be a handyman. Among the more than 1,000 devils, there were no 7th level members at all. The lowest was the 8th level. More than 1,000 were of 8th level. What a terrifying force. The 6 temples of mankind might not be able to be put together this much. The 8th level could only share a tent with another member, and only the strong 9th level was qualified to own one tent alone. And the tents of the devils were all in dark gold. The largest one, of course, belonged to the god of devils. The tent looked like a palace of the god of devils. In this windy and snowy north area, more than 1,000 devils were well hidden when the night had fallen. However, when all the tents were built, a large number of devils moved in one after another. Yulong Guan found them instantly because it was so eye-catching. 19 pillars of light shone instantly. Each pillar of light was of different color and size, but even the shortest pillar of light was 100 meters high and the tallest purple pillar was nearly a kilometer. This was the magic pillar of the 19 devil gods who had followed the god of devils. When the 19 magic pillars appeared, and their brilliance bloomed in the wilderness, the whole Yulong Guan was in a huge shock. Apart from the eternal heroes, all the strong men in the Yulong Guan had never seen such a magnificent scene. The 19 pillars represented that 19 devil gods had come to Yulong Guan. More importantly, the 19 pillars formed a circle, and in the middle of them, a dark golden light loomed, connecting heaven and earth, just like the pillar of heaven supporting the sky. Although it was not clear, the majesty above could not be compared with the other 19 pillars. Not to mention others, even Long Haochen, the president of the Temple Federation and the head of the Light Dawn Demon Hunter group, was deeply shocked when he saw this scene outside Yulong Guan. It was a lot different when seeing it in person than when they just heard and knew about its existence. Although he was very calm on the surface, he still felt repressed in his heart. The god of devils, the invincible existence of the holy demon continent had finally come. He would eventually confront this horrifying existence. The high levels of the Night Temple at Yulong Guan were all solemn at this time, even the eternal heroes. The news that Long Haochen led the Legion of Sharp Knives to return from the great victory of the Devil's Clan was immediately spread throughout Yulong Guan and carried out comprehensive publicity to the whole Federation. As the federal president, his prestige soared for some time, coupled with the publicity of previous magical films. Long Haochen's influence was much stronger than when he first became the president of the Federation. There had never been such a big victory between mankind and the devil in the past 6,000 years. However, at this moment, looking at the 20 devil pillars in the distance, the joy of previous victory was swept away. A temporary victory was never the same as a final victory. As long as the god of devils still existed, it meant that this invincible existence was still there, then there would almost never be a day for mankind to win over devils. It seemed that the god of devils had brought 209th level strong members and more than 1,008 level strong ones, but in fact, the one who really had the greatest threat and deterrence to Yulong Guan was the god of devils. In front of thousands of years of stored power, human beings had the courage but not so much confidence. The atmosphere around Yulong Guan was dreadfully congealed. Long Haochen. A low voice sounded, and a roar came. The momentum of terror seemed to make the whole Yulong Guan tremble slightly. Seeing the devil gods and devils encamping in the distance, the high echelons of the Night Temple thought he would not launch an attack immediately, but as soon as the sound arrived, everyone was surprised, and their eyes all focused on Long Haochen. 50 miles apart, the voice of the god of devils seemed to be close at hand. Long Haochen's eyes squinted slightly, his pupil was bright, the body had already flown, and the golden wings spread out behind him, which immediately turned the head of Yulong Guan into a shining gold. God of devils. Long Houchen's voice was very calm. Nobody could not sense any slightest mood fluctuation, and it also spread far away. As he spoke, his body slowly flew higher into the sky. At the same time, a strong column of glittering white light fell from the sky and fell behind Long Houchen. The sky suddenly became like daylight, and the glittering white light spread instantly, driving away the darkness of the night, or at least the place of Yulong Guan, which was completely covered by this pure aura and soothed the fear in people's hearts. In the center of the clear white light, a round of 9-color glow began to spread, with the 9 colors so dazzling, sacred, noble, but also with a lot of dignity. In the center of the 9-color light, a huge sealed divine throne appeared in mid-air. The 9-color light had a special aura and sparkled, but without any confusion. Vaguely, behind the sealed divine throne, the 9 colors gradually formed a circle of glows that shone with each other. On the other hand, the body of the throne had gradually become like the color of white jade. On the back of the chair, the subtle reliefs everywhere gave people an indescribable sense of beauty. At the top, there were the sun, the moon, and the stars. The middle was the creatures of birds and animals, and the part that was connected to the seat was the scene of nature. A pair of seat armrests were sacred dragon statues and 12 winged angels. Bathed in the light of the throne, the strong Yulong Guan only felt the fear in their hearts and could no longer feel any pressure from the 20 pillars of the devil in the distance. Long Houchen's body was still standing there, but with himself as the center, a huge human form was projected in front of the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation. This figure was 150 feet tall, and it was Long Houchen himself. Although it was only light and shadow, when his huge body slowly sat on the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation, it covered Yulong Guan entirely. All greeted Long Houchen in the air with their highest etiquette. Fanaticism had replaced their fear. The Devil's Clan has an invincible god of devils, but we human beings also have a brilliant leader, the sealed divine knight, federal president, Long Houchen. Long Houchen unleashed the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation, which restored the morale of Yulong Guan and increased it at an astonishing speed. It seemed to be stimulated by the aura of the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation. In the distance, the black and golden light in the god of devils dragon chair suddenly bloomed, and the god of devils body grew slowly under the black and golden light. It didn't stop until it was about the size of Long Houchen. A huge black golden dragon emerged behind him and turned into a dragon chair that looked bigger than the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation, carrying the body of the god of devils. The speed of your growth surprised me. It was my biggest mistake that you didn't die in that war 5 years ago. Although they were tens of miles apart, the voice of the god of devils was still so clear, as if he said it directly to their ears. Long Houchen said calmly, "A mistake is a mistake. I heard that the star devil god Vashak once predicted that it was your only chance to deal with me. That time, you did not succeed, which means that the Devil's Clan is bound to decline, am I right?" As soon as the face of the god of devils changed, the reply paused slightly. The great prophecy of the star devil god Vashak was the top secret of the magic Devil's Clan. How did Long Houchen know? Even in the Devil's Clan, only a few devil gods at the top had heard of it. Is that for you to decide? Feng Xiu sneered. He did not refute Long Houchen's words. As the god of devils, he had never disdained to lie. However, for some reason, he felt a little uneasy after listening to Long Houchen's reminder. At the beginning, Vashak said that it was their only chance to deal with Long Houchen. If they missed that time, Long Houchen would become much stronger, which would threaten the survival of the Devil's Clan. Yes, it is up to me. Long Houchen gave the god of devils an affirmative answer, and now he obviously couldn't appear weak. Feng Xiu suddenly smiled. Good. You are indeed my favorite young man. No one in your generation can surpass your talent and luck, whether it is my race or your human beings. Now you have really become something. Did the god of devils just praise Long Houchen? Although it was a hostile relationship, the strong human beings who closed Yulong Guan could not help but be proud of what the god of devils said. That was the god of devils. Invincible existence, the top strong man of the Devil's Clan. You don't need to judge whether I have become something or not. Since this holy war is inevitable, I believe it will be a battle for mankind to turn things around, Long Houchen said coldly. The god of devils smiled calmly. I did not overcompliment you. I just said what I really think. You are good, but you are too young. I can kill you once, therefore, I can kill you again. Long Houchen's eyes suddenly opened widely. Two cold lights burst out from them, and the huge body of 150 feet tall suddenly appeared sharper, like an open bow that could burst into the most powerful attack at any time. You can give it a try right now. As he spoke, Long Houchen stood up from the sealed divine throne of eternity and creation. Did he take the initiative to challenge the god of devils? Not to mention the strong human beings nearby. Yulong Guan were startled, even the other 19 devil gods in the distance were surprised. This Long Houchen was so arrogant that he dared to challenge His Majesty, the god of devils. However, the god of devils did not get angry and did not seem to have the intention to do so. He smiled and said, ferocious in appearance but feeble in essence. I said you can't, you just can't. It surprises me that you can beat Poe, but the gap between you and me is still huge. Since I found you here, you are already in my back pocket. But I don't really want to kill you. Let me ask you a question. Are Austin and Griffin still alive? Long Houchen smiled with some disdain. You are so confident that you can kill me. But you are still afraid of something? Of course, Hao Yu is still alive, it lives very well. The god of devils also smiled. It seems that you have told me the answer. Yes, I don't deny that Austin and Griffin pose a great threat to us devils. Unfortunately, the blood bond between him and you is connected. If you are dead, how can he still be alive? Long Houchen laughed and said, am I dead? Who is it in front of you then? The god of devils said coldly, it's just an undead creature. Long Houchen gently shook his head and said, Your Majesty, you are too confident. Most of the time, it's not what you think it is. What evidence do you have when you say I'm an undead? The god of devils laughed and said, credentials? Of course not. Because you're not the undead anymore. It's just, you used to be an undead creature. Long Houchen also smiled, Your Majesty's contradictory words are really ridiculous. The god of devils shook his head and said, no, it's not funny. I can tell you frankly that no matter I or any other devil god, we are all really afraid of Austin and Griffin. But your situation has made it clear to me that it is indeed dead. In the Star Devil Tower, I destroyed your heart and you are dead. If I guess correctly, the reason why you were able to stand in front of me again must be that there was some special treasure in your body at that time that could hold your soul together. Maybe Austin and Griffin didn't really die at that time. After that, you came back to life with the secret method of the undead, but you were only an undead at that time, not a real existence. You can keep your soul together, but Austin and Griffin can't. He has no choice but to die. You are now a human again because you snatched the goddess of nature from me and reborn with a heart using the power of the goddess of nature. However, it has been 5 years since I killed you. In 5 years, Austin and Griffin should have died a long time ago. Listening to the analysis of the god of devils, Long Houchen could not help but be stupefied for a moment. According to the rules of the god of devils and the blood bond, if he had survived with the heart of eternity, Hao Yu should have died. Unless he was not an undead creature, but even though he didn't know what kind of existence it should be before his heart was reborn. However, the magical heart of eternity created by Electrolux made him no different from ordinary people, and even his practice was not affected at all. For a moment, Long Houchen's heart was also full of doubts. Long Houchen's reaction in the eyes of the god of devils was undoubtedly as if he had verified what he had said. Now that Austin and Griffin are dead. So, in fact, our biggest conflict is gone. The smile on the face of the god of devils became even wilder. Although you have part of Austin and Griffin's blood in your body, with its death, the power of this blood will gradually disappear. And in that case, I can give you a chance. Long Houchen woke up from his thoughts, and in a short period of thinking he seemed to have caught something. Was Austin and Griffin mentioned by the god of devils and his Hao Yu the same creature? No, not exactly. The simplest point was that when Hao Yu was still weak, the reason why he was able to survive in the Holy Devil continent was because of the blood bond with Long Houchen. In Hao Yu's body was not only the flow of Long Houchen's blood, at the same time, he was also supposed to be a dark element that had been adapted into the attribute of light. In that case, maybe everything would be different. Long Houchen's guess was completely correct. It was because of the attribute changes, so that the original Hao Yu could survive, gradually restored their own damage, and then evolved again. Light and darkness were two diametrically opposed forces, and the small light of the 8 heads of Hao Yu could be said to be the closest to Long Houchen because its power came entirely from Long Houchen. When Electrolux resurrected Long Houchen, he used the Heart of Eternity to preserve all the human characteristics of Long Houchen. He could not be said to be a real undead, but a semi-human and semi-undead state. On the other hand, the Heart of Eternity was formed by the huge power of light concentrated on the physique of the Son of Light, and it was the crystallization of the study of magic of the undead in the whole life of the Deathly Hallows and the scourge of the undead, Electrolux. Long Haochen's own soul and blood were fully restored and sublimated with the support of the Heart of Eternity. No matter how strong the practice level of the God of Devils was, he didn't know enough about the magic of the undead, and he was not clear that what helped Long Haochen resurrect was a terrifying man whose strength was not inferior to that of himself. That was why there was a deviation in his guesswork. Listening to some gentle voices of the God of Devils that insisted how you being dead, Long Haochen did not retort. What he needed most now was time. With each passing day, his practice level would increase to a considerable extent, and at the same time, the overall arrangement of the Southeast Fortress and Guan would be progressing further. Outside Yulong Guan, it was highly unlikely for Long Haochen and his group to defeat the God of Devils and the horrifying strong army he brought here. Long Haochen's aim was to drag the strong members in the Devil's clan here. Ideally, they should be trapped here until the end of the Battle of the Southeast Fortress and Guan ended, so that the eternal heroes and the strong members of the Six Temples would be able to come to support him. And until that moment, it was the last life and death battle with the God of Devils. This video will end here.